I am Reed. I am 27, just an average dude. I've made tons of money mistakes in my 20s, and now I want to share everything I've learned to help you take control of your finances and your life. So I had a whole different video plan for this week. I was going to talk about business stuff, the usual grind mindset kind of content, but man, I just parked that whole thing. Honestly, I have no real direction for this video right now. Full transparency, this is completely off the cuff, off the dome, but I didn't want to be tone deaf. I wanted to speak on this topic briefly one time only, and just give you my deeper thoughts, not just on the situation itself, because everyone is already talking about that. I mean, what can we even do right now? What are we actually able to do in this current moment? I am speaking as a Canadian here, and obviously with everything going on with Charlie Kirk, I never met the guy personally. I didn't even really watch much of his content till recently. The main thing I watched was that debating video on Jubilee maybe a year ago or a year and a half ago, and that was the moment I was like, holy shit, this guy can speak. The way he could articulate words, he was sharp as a tack. That is what I think, and we get into this in a second. I just think the world needs more of that point blank, regardless of which side you are on if you can speak. Well, I have utmost respect for you. The whole thing, obviously the video does help, but maybe you are feeling it too. I personally can explain it. There is just this very eerie feeling I've had over the last couple days, and like I said, the video doesn't help, but I find it way deeper than that. I think it is just a wake-up call that the world is changing, and it is changing really fast. I mean, it has been changing, but lately I don't know what the hell has been going on in 2025. Everything is different. The old playbook IV really shifted my mindset on the get rich buy some land, and check out get off the grid mentality. That is just not it anymore. That is so selfish. That is so stupid. And I just want to be real for a second. The uncomfortable truth you might be feeling is that your intuition is probably telling you something important. Something is off. The world feels different. That is because it is different. Dude, we've been sold this idea that success means making enough money to disappear in the mountains and go screw off somewhere. But look, financial independence is crucial. Dante, get me wrong. I am the first person to talk about that. I've literally made videos about that stuff. But what happens when the chaos comes to your doorstep? What happens when you are faced with a moment like that and you have no reaction? You can do anything about it, right? What happens when the systems you are depending on start breaking down? So I think besides the video that is just ingrained in my damn head, the thing that sticks with me is the way he was able to communicate. It takes a different kind of person to not just accumulate resources, but someone who can actually lead, who can really think clearly under pressure, who can communicate effectively when it matters most. And the question is, are you becoming that person? Because I've had to check myself recently, not just with this situation, but over this whole summer, there has been a lot of shifts. I am making big changes in my agency. I am doing this mentorship stuff. I am really evaluating where my time is going and what I am spending it on. Dude, I am 27 years old. I don't have as much time as I may think. I am all for patience, but I am also for being aggressive and being very upfront with what you want. So here is what I mean. I am going to call this concept antifragile. It is not just being tough enough to survive chaos. It is actually getting stronger because of it. That requires a very different approach to how we prepare. First thing is intellectual independence. I don't know where I am going with this, but just stop consuming other people's content all the time. Start developing your own well-reasoned positions, read books, study history, study wars and different conflicts. Practice articulating your own thoughts, because when the moment comes, and I promise you it will, the need to be able to think and speak clearly, not just repeat what someone else said, is really damn important. It is something I am trying to practice every single day and get better at, because I think it helps with everything in life. Ivy said this countless times. What I am saying in these videos is probably nothing new. It is just repeating what I really do believe in. Let me tell you about my own journey with this. When I was 22, I was lost, man. I was working a corporate job I hated. I was spending money I didn't have on things I didn't need. I was maxing out credit cards just to feel like I was keeping up with everyone else. And the worst part, I had no opinion on anything. I would just scroll through social media and absorb whatever the algorithm fed me one day. I agree with this person, the next day I agree with someone else. I had no backbone, no real thoughts of my own. It took me hitting rock bottom financially to realize I needed to actually think for myself. I started reading books about history, about economics, about philosophy. Not because I wanted to be smart, but because I wanted to be sure about what I believed. And let me tell you, that changed everything. Second point is skills. You know how big I am on skills, but skills that actually matter. Yes, learn to sell, learn to code, but I also need to take my own advice here. I need to get better at fixing stuff with my hands, being a better handyman, learning to grow food eventually, learning to defend myself, really defend myself, learn to negotiate, mediate conflict, bring people together when they falling apart. I am trying to get better at that too. And this isn't just prepper skills anymore. These are actual leadership skills. It feels good to lead and be at the forefront helping people. It really does feel good. I learned that in my early corporate days. I remember working at this company where everything was falling apart, the team was divided. People were pointing fingers, nobody wanted to take responsibility. And I was just a junior guy, nobody listened to me, but I started stepping up in small ways. I would mediate between two coworkers who could stand each other. I would stay late to help someone finish a project. I would speak up in meetings when nobody else would. And slowly things started to change. People started looking to me not because I had a fancy title, but because I showed up when it mattered. That lesson stuck with me. Leadership is not about position, it is about action. Going back to the financial stuff, yeah, multiple income streams, a lot of money coming in, emergency fund is great, but also understand that money is just a tool. Real wealth or financial independence is in your ability to create value for other people, to solve problems, to be indispensable to your entire community. That is something I am really trying to get better at, to being more community focused. IV always hinted at this before, and it is a downfall of mine, but I used to think get away from the normies was the move, and to a certain point, I do want that. But I also understand community. There are some moments IV had in my life that have been the best ever, where it is just all of us talking, having fun, doing the most random things, and coming together without this weird division BS. When I was in my early 20s, I thought being successful meant not needing anyone. I wanted to make enough money that I could just isolate myself and never have to deal with people. I thought that was strength, but I was wrong, man. I was so wrong. Real strength is being so capable, so valuable, so solid that other people want to be around you when things get tough. It is about building real solid relationships and community, not just your online following. That is something I really respect about people who are out there trying to make a difference. They aren't trying to hide from the world, they literally trying to change it. I went down this rabbit hole recently watching videos of this guy speaking when he was 22, 21 years old. And I am like, holy shit, this guy has just been mastering his craft, because he kind of did. In my opinion, he kind of popped out of nowhere in front of everyone. I am like, this guy really did pop off the last couple years. Where did this come from? But it is like, he has been in the game for so long, he has learned to articulate his words for years. Yes, he even had some opinions I kind of disagreed with, but that doesn't mean you get shot right. That doesn't mean you have to go to this crazy other side and be completely opposed. The amount of division I see online is demonic. It is borderline scary. The mental state of some of these people, it is insane. And dude, I just have respect for people who build something bigger than themselves. Obviously, it makes them a target, but it also means their ideas will outlive them. Their legacy is going to be insane. So for myself, I am not saying I am going to run for president or something, but starting small, I am going to get involved more locally. Maybe I LL volunteer. Maybe I L join some organizations. I don't know yet. I am trying to think about this YouTube stuff and this audience. It has been really cool. It is almost like community, but online. I love doing this. So now I just need to take the aspects of this and apply it in person. I think I can help people in general. It'd be really, really cool. The third thing I want to talk about is the physical side. I am not talking about just looking good with your shirt off. I am talking about actual functional strength, learning to have endurance, the ability to handle physical stress and physical wear on your body. That has been a big thing I've been working through this summer. I need to learn some form of martial arts and self-defense. Your mind and your body need to work together. IV made the joke before, you could be the gym bro, the dude who just lifts weights all day, but what is the actual functionality of that? What are you able to do other than look good? I have respect for the dudes who can look good but also perform good and have that mobility and sharpness to them. I am trying to do that myself. I was never athletic growing up, man. I was the kid who got picked last in gym class. I hated sports. I hated anything physical. And that mindset carried into my adult life. I would skip workouts. I would make excuses. I thought being smart was enough. But I realized that your body and your mind are connected. When you let your body go, your mind follows. When I started taking my physical health seriously, everything else improved. My focus got better. My confidence went up. My ability to handle stress improved. Your body is your vehicle for everything you want to do in life. If you don't take care of it, you are limiting yourself. So again, I am kind of all over the place, but going back to community and leadership, that is where I've been wrong. I always thought it meant isolation. ILL get rich to not need anyone, dude. That is not real strength. If you told me that 2-3 years ago, I would have said, yep, that is exactly the path I am on, but that is not strength. Real strength is being so capable and so valuable and so solid that other people want to be around you when things get tough. It is about building real solid relationships and community, not just your online following. I think it is like learn to communicate effectively, build yourself physically, and mentally practice public speaking in whatever form you want to do. These skills matter more than your investment portfolio, dude. When society, when the world, when your family, your future family is eventually going to be under stress, it is just something I am trying to wake myself up and shake myself out of this complacency. I know this is not my usual content at all. I've never made a political video on this channel. I am usually about building wealth, hitting your goals, all that kind of stuff, and business. But what is happening now is just a reminder that there are bigger things at stake than just your personal success. We're reliving through a time where ideas have consequences and where standing for something actually means something. So listen, dude, take a stand, care about what you care about. Don't be afraid to voice that. I know I am not. Become strong physically, mentally. Become the kind of man that others can count on when things are uncertain and when things are weird. And that is it, man. No direction. Hope you enjoyed. Comment if you have any questions. Peace.